Hello and welcome. I'm Emma and this is the 10-minute quilter. I've got a couple of finishes today, so I thought I'd combine it with a little pattern review for you at the same time. This is the Star Pop 2 pattern by Emily Dennis of Quilty Love. Star Pop 1 was released a couple of years ago and this second version was released in autumn of 2022, so last year. And the main difference is that this second version is a much easier pieced quilt. So there's only one block as opposed to two blocks in the original. It's a pattern that's available in paper form or as a PDF digital download. If you want a paper version, obviously if you're in the States you can order directly from Emily. If you're in the UK you can order it from a company called Floss Candy and I'll put the link down below. I purchased a PDF digital download version and I bought it when Emily had a discount code when she released it, so I paid $10 for mine, which at the exchange rate at that time worked out at about £9.30. Now when I checked today it is still on for $10. It is a great size inclusive pattern, so it starts at a baby pattern size which is 45 by 52 inches and it goes up to a king size which is 105 inches square. It's a great pattern because it's a beginner friendly pattern and you can use your scraps, you can use 10-inch layer cakes, fat eighths, fat quarters, or you can buy and use yardage. It's completely up to you. When I purchased my pattern, I decided that I was going to go and make a square throw size, which works out at 60 square inches. I had 13 fat quarters that I was going to use to create my square throw. And these were a range of fabrics that were from Moda, a line called Northern Lights. I had a bit of Stuart Hilliard in there, I had a bit of Juice, I had a bit of linen texture and a little bit of old Liberty fabric as well. Now as I started to cut and piece my blocks, I decided it was quite a lot of fabric for one quilt that was going to come out effectively once a year. And so as a result of which I changed tack slightly and decided I was going to make two quilts out of what I got. So this is the first version. This is a baby size, so it's 45 by 52 and it's 6 blocks by 7 in the layout. I will put some pictures up. This is as per the layout as suggested on Emily's pattern. As you can see, it's nice and bright and it's very Christmassy. This was quilted on the long arm and I just did a loop-de-loop with a holly leaf pattern, free motion, which I love doing. I really like doing holly leaves. Don't quite know why really, but and it's very much a random layout. I just made sure that I just didn't have two fabrics next to each other the same really. It's quilted with a so fine polyester thread. It's got a cotton wadding inside of it. And the backing is just an extra wide Christmas print that I found in my local quilt shop. And it's bound in the leftover Liberty fabric that I had in my stash already. So this is my second version. This is a slightly different layout to Emily's pattern. This is a 6 by 6 layout. And as you can probably see from the photographs, it has a much definite light and dark running through it in diagonal strips. This again is quilted on the long arm with the so fine polyester thread. It's got the same backing fabric and it's bound in Stuart Hilliard's Christmas range. But I used a pantograph on this one. Now, it's a pantograph called Merriment, which I purchased from Urban Elements. And I quilted this when I was jet lagged. That's my excuse, jet lagged. And I was 2 rows into the pantograph when I realised that I had the pantograph upside down. Now, it doesn't make any difference to the pattern on the quilt whatsoever, but what I think it did make a difference to was the flow of the stitching of the pantograph as I went through it. It just didn't flow probably as well as it should have done, but there we go. So the cons of this pattern are, if you are a beginner, it's a great beginner's pattern. It's a lot of repetition over and over, but it's a nice basic block. So it's great if you want to practice your cutting out and your 1/4" seam and piecing. It's absolutely great for that, because it's just the same block repeated all the way through, and it's just the way that you twist it that gives you the effect. Again, if you're a beginner, I think this is a lovely, easy pattern that gives you quite a big impact for the work that you put in, which is great. And if you have a look on Instagram, or if you have a look on Emily's blog site, there are some beautiful, beautiful versions of it. It's really, really nice. And it's great if you want to use up some stash. If you've got some scraps you wanted to use, you could use those up really well. Or if you've got a pile of fat quarters that you want to use up, then it's absolutely brilliant for that, which is what I did with mine. Cons: if you're a slightly more experienced quilter, then there is a lot of repetition. It's not one that's going to get your brain working. It's just the same block repeated over and over. But sometimes that's it's quite nice. It's quite nice just to have a pattern that you don't have to think about and you can just churn it out. There is a little bit of wastage in that. Read the pattern carefully before you start, because I think I was skimming it a little bit and I didn't really register a particular measurements, and so I ended up having to trim off 1/2 inch from a load of rectangles. So they are going in the bin. I am not doing anything with those. You also end up with lots of little leftover triangles like this, and I did put it on my Instagram, you know, what do I do? And it was a 50-50 mix, I have to say. Some people said throw them in the bin, life's too short. Some people said piece them, you could make Christmas pot holders with them or something like that. One of my lovely ladies, Bernie, suggested that I make a border with it. So piece them together and make a 1/2 square triangle border, which, as you can see, is what I did. I have to say, 130 of these in, I was really starting to lose the will to live a little bit, which is why it's only at the top and the bottom and not down the sides as well. These, once they're sewn together and then trimmed up, come up to 1.5 inches finished. Yeah, just checking, 1.5 inches finished. And yeah, I was really losing it by the time I got into that. But I think it finishes it off quite nicely, but I couldn't face doing any down the sides as well. So it's just top and bottom, which actually works quite nicely. I still have got a few of these left, but I think these are probably going to go into the bin now. I've had enough of those for now. So a really, really nice pattern. Very clear, very concise, great diagrams, great instructions. There's a little colouring sheet so that you can colour your own version if you wish. And like I said, I think it's a nice, simple pattern that gives you a wow factor, really. It's, you know, with minimal effort. So I would highly recommend it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I've got 2 finishes, which is brilliant. So I might keep one. I think one might be a gift for somebody else. I know that some of you are family members, so you know, if you want a Christmas quilt, just give me a nudge. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my finishes and hearing about the pattern, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care. Bye.